Okay? We cannot thank you enough, we cannot praise you enough for all you do for us. Father, we say that all glory be ascribed unto your holy name in Jesus' name. As you God has made it possible for us to gather before you here, pray God not this is our purpose. We pray that your presence will abide with us. Lord, come and take control of it. God, all we're going to do, that your presence will be seen in all in Jesus' name. Father, we pray, guide us, protect us, preserve us, Lord. Father, come and take charge in all we're going to do today. Be that glorified because we know you have answered our prayers in Jesus' name and wonderful name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, sir. While we wait for the police to get here, I think they're on their way here already. We'd like us to introduce ourselves. We know that people from the civil defense, they know themselves, but I know that we don't know the people on the other side of the hall. We have media presence and presence for the heads of disability clusters and genetic management executives as well. So I want us to know ourselves and address each other our first names. So I would love you to tell us your name. We're going to pass the mic to go individually. You tell us your name. Tell us your name, your designation, where you work apparently, and your favorite food. Good morning.
My name is Chukwu Stella. I'm civil defense officer. My favorite food is white rice.
And
yeah, exactly. Good morning, all. My name is Ogechi Patrick. I'm civil defense officer. My favorite food is rice with Awka.
I hear the thing.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Anambra from NSCDC, Anambra State, Awka, headquarters, Nigeria Council. I'm the DPO of the Persons with Disabilities.
We don't know what DPO is.
Okay, desk officer.
Okay, disability desk officer.
Yes.
We are happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Your favorite food, within here?
Oh, rice and stew.
Tomato stew.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Mbanugo Agong. I'm working from NSCDC, Awka Command, Anambra State. My favorite is Ofen, Isara, and chicken. Abu.
Good morning, all. My name is Ade West from NSCDC, Ovi Division. Rice and the sauce. What kind of sauce? Chicken sauce. Wow.
My name is Anekwechi Wendy. I am sign language. I work with the Disability Rights Commission. Thank you.
Your favorite food?
I don't want to I eat everything.
Okay, it's hard to believe, but it's fine.
Okay. My name is Chukwu Wow. I work with the Disability Rights Commission. Now, my favorite food is white soup and chicken.
Okay, salad.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Uche Mbeke. I report for Radio Nigeria. No, I just got to my favorite food. Will it be available here today? Okay. Please serve me on white plantain. Yes, thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
everyone. My name is Blessing Baines from ABS. Okay. Everybody's is great.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Able2Vote from NCR. My favorite food is Onubusu. Apple.
A very good morning to
So
you
what
all.
you said, and I'm going to ask you the name of the officer seated here. Okay.
A very good morning to you all. My name is Adoma Izokeke from Radio Sapientia TV. My favorite food is beans. Beans with anything.
My name is David. I'm a journalist with Disabilities. I like any good food served, especially if it's done so with a chill bottle of beer.
All right. 20 bottles.
Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Michael Farmer. I work with NSCDC, Awka, Anambra State Command Headquarters. I'm the Divisional Officer in charge of digital policy government. Thank you. And my favorite food is Awka foods served with dried manga.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
My name is Superintendent of Able2Vote. I'm the head of media and tactical operations NSCDC Anambra State. My favorite food is the salad with a media.
Catfish and salad or sausage.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Obu Victoria. I work with NSCDC. My favorite food, white rice with tomato sauce.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
My name is Mrs. Somaja Bella. I'm working with NSCDC from Awka South Division. My favorite food is ezigbote akpụ asụrụ asụ ntụ onugbu eji ezigbo ogiri wee si the menu. Good morning, all. I'm SC Anambra Christiana from NSCDC. My favorite yam and tomato sauce. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Onome Okadibu. My favorite food is the second one. My favorite food is masala with semo.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Joanne Azarena. I work with Able2Vote 99.1 FM Obosi. I have two favorite foods. Number one is akpu with ora soup. And number two is abacha, served with chilled palm wine.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Franklin Onyekachi. I work with NTA Onitsha. My favorite food is Onubu soup and garri.
You're welcome. What kind of food?
My name is Monowe Lawrence.
The best food.
Disabilities?
Yes. The best food by law is offer, not this of offer, right? There is offer we use in.
Banga starch?
Well, we call it no. We find that we have offer. It's not common in Nigeria. If you saw a little woman who's offer for me, honest, but give me nice, very great.
Okay. I want to be best food.
Good morning, my name is Able2Vote, the State Chairman of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Anambra State Chapter. And my best food is a well-prepared oral soup with sebo.
All right, my name is Ifeanyi Chukwu Iwewe. I'm the Vice Chairman, Jonathan. So my best food is around plantain, dry fish.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ben Oris. I'm the head ability cluster, Jonathan, Anambra State. My best food is a pussy soup with dry ifuru with pounded yam. So,
Good morning, all. My name is Miss Wanobara Njeta. I am the State Secretary, Association of Persons with Physical Disability. And my favorite food is okra soup with apple. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chidinma Njeba. I'm the Publicity Secretary, Jonathan, Anambra State. And my favorite food is abacha. Okay, just abacha.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is
My name is Enigo
Emmanuel. My best food is our local food, which is Awka. That is my
The
best.
porridge for the white one.
The porridge one.
What organization?
DSS.
You're welcome.
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
My name is Sunday Ebe. My DSS officer. My favorite food is Awka.
Something about DSS and Awka.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Superintendent Anthony. I'm the head of NSCDC Government House Unit. My favorite food is Awka and dry fish.
Awka should be very expensive in Anambra.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. You are very very good.
My name is Superintendent Anthony.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sumu Gojini. My favorite food is rice. What your favorite food?
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Eze Kairelia. My favorite food is rice and plantain, and I'm working with MS.
Jollof rice.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Wanko Chinaza. I'm working with NICBC State Command. My favorite food is abacha.
Good morning. I'm Obunle Victor Marine. I work with Nigeria Civil Civil Defense Corps, Anambra State Command. I think my favorite food is fried rice and chicken.
Fried rice and chicken. The first experience.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Uche Adozi. I'm working as an aide to the person with disabilities. I love this and
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sunale Dance. I'm working as social integrated in different centers today. My favorite food is also.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Patricia. I'm Mr. Lawrence. Apple and Mr. Hassan.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. And my colleagues will have to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name is George Dofo. I'm the Assistant Program Manager at TAF Africa. I love on the young and the States.
Good morning, all. My name is Tefan Bekasi. I work with TAF Africa as monitoring and evaluation officer. I love Abacha.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rotimi Chiloze. I love fried rice and chicken.
Okay, what? Stew or?
Stew.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sopodo Nipo. I love Onubu soup and apple.
I also assume that the person sitting next to me, you know the person's name and favorite food. I just want to assume because I think I know as well. Yes,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dubueze Ezemba. I am from Anambra State. I work at Awka local government, Awka not local government. I am the chairman of the deaf committee. I love all of you.
Alright. Thank you, everybody. My name is Lynn. My name is Lynn Abucha. I work with TAF Africa, and my favorite food is beans and sweet potato. Yes. Alright, thank you so much for introducing yourselves, and I want to welcome all of us to this capacity building. I will hand over to my colleague, Mr. George. I would like to continue with the program. Thank you.
Once again, good morning, everyone. It's good to see your beautiful faces and handsome faces here today. But if you will indulge me a little bit, I think that it will be good for us to occupy the front seats first, so that we don't have spaces in between. If you agree with me, please, those of us who are behind, who can just occupy the front, especially the center here that I'm looking at, that is so empty. Now we want us to get better. Thank you so very much. Thank you. You know, these are security agencies. They are not for discipline. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, thank you very much. If you are settled, I'll just go ahead. Thank you. Like I said, my name is George Dominic Kanwai. I'm the Assistant Program Manager at TAF Africa. I want to warmly welcome you to this event on behalf of the Chief Executive Officer, TAF Africa, Ambassador Jake Kesele. He is unavoidably absent as it is now. It's something that is dear to him. He would have loved to be here, but because of other exigencies, he is not here with us. But he sends his greetings and respect to you. I just want to say that we are excited to have you here. We really appreciate your commitment, to ensuring disability inclusion in our various agencies. I want to particularly appreciate the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps for their commitment. Thank you very much for showing this commitment to be part of this process. The civil defense have always been very, very inclusive, friendly. We have had some engagement with the civil defense, in some states, and we've seen the commitment. And I'm aware that the civil defense have disability desk officers. In fact, you will have a national disability desk office, and I think, if I'm not correct, you can correct me. I think at the state level too, you have disability desk officers. Pierre, am I correct? Could you please the disability desk officer? Oh, please can we clap for her? Thank you for having that. I personally requested. I said, please, sir, let's make sure that the disability desk officer is part of the delegate that will be at this meeting. And we have her here. Thank you very much. And thank you to Nabi for always, also committed. The chairman, we've been working together. Thank you for also always mobilizing your people to be part of this process. Of course, there is nothing about us without us. But now, there is nothing without us. I don't know whether you are aware that's the update. The update now is there is nothing without us. Lynn can confirm. Lynn at Germany, there is nothing without us, right? So it's no longer just that there is nothing about us without us. Now is that there is nothing at all without us. If you are not there, it has didn't happen. If persons in the services are not there, then that thing has not happened. Yeah, or it's not, doesn't have any national impact. All right, thank you very much, and thank you our friends from the media. Thank you very much we were here day before yesterday, and we had intensive engagement with the media, and they are here today again to also go and say thank you. We do not take your friendship and commitment for granted. We really appreciate all you've been doing. And our people who are very, I don't know whether to mention their name. I'm afraid of mentioning their name because they are always secrets. They call them the DSS. They don't want to be exposed. But anyway, for the sake of this meeting, they had to appear here and expose themselves. We really appreciate you. In a very, it was not something we really listened to from the beginning, but short notice and they're here with us. Thank you very much for such commitment. In fact, they are the ones even trying to make sure that they are part of what is happening. Thank you very much, DSS, for being here. Thank you everyone for the effort you are making in our little corners to ensure disability inclusion. We are all welcome, and we're going to have a good time, I assure you. But we trust God to be able to round up in a good time. We'll try to manage ourselves even though we started late. So we will take goodwill messages. We'll start from John Apid, and then we'll go to our friends from the Nigeria police force are not here yet, but I got a call that they are mobilizing to come here shortly. So we'll also take from the MSC. So let's take Google message from Jonathan quickly. Should I come there? Let me come, yes. So that we don't space our brother.
Good morning, all. I bring greetings from the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities. First of all, I want to thank God Almighty for making it possible for all of us here together for this important discussion. And I would like also to say welcome to our own brothers from TAF and sisters from TAF. It's always thank our doctors, Dr. Jeff. Honestly, this is not the first time they are coming. They have been here since 2 months ago for another massive program for persons with disabilities. We are talking about the election, Able2Vote campaign. And when they came, they were able to mobilize at 350 disabilities across all the zones, which have never happened before. So, and this campaign was so massive. In fact, the story is still going on in Anambra State. And yet again, since 2 days ago, we have been here with media of the different media organizations, talking about how media can help, increase the participation of persons with disabilities in elections by the world of creating awareness. And here today again, we have other stakeholders, security agencies. Honestly, we are indeed very happy that this program is happening at this time, because we know that very soon we will go back again to the fold. And when we talk about inclusion does not mean charity. It is a matter of right. And I think the reason why we are here is because we know that security agencies, they have a big role to play to make sure that the lives of persons with disabilities that comes out to vote are well protected. And I believe it is a two-way thing that today you hear from us the aspect we want you to assist us, whereby we hear from you what we have been doing differently to make sure that the persons with disabilities are carried along in the electoral processes. So on this note, I want to say thank you again for honoring this invitation, and I wish all of us a fruitful celebration. Thank you.
If you are clapping, please clap very well. He is the chairman, Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Anambra chapter. That is Mr. Umochukwu. Thank you for that good message. We will go straight to the NSCDC. The state commandant was invited for the good message, who is ably represented by okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pierre. Yes, I was going to call the PRO, but I just got notified that there is a superior officer that is here to take the witness on behalf of the commandant. So we have Deputy Commandant Stella Nwokaba. Yes, please can you put your hands together for her? She's the head of election campaign. Please clap for her. Please clap now.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this very privilege. Thank you very much, Dr. I want to give you the message we have about the state commandant. I want to thank all the organizers of this very wonderful program. I want to tell you that you always have been NSCDC to partner with every state program. in regards to security in safeguarding our state, our dear country, especially our state, Anambra State in particular. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Madam Stella Awka. We don't have the police here yet, so we don't have direct here, so we'll just move on. It's time for tea. And I know that I've shared the ticket to everybody. Please, I'm not going to have to be the tea is actually behind. It's actually past the tea time, but we really apologize again for starting late. Please, we'll just take a few minutes and have our tea behind. Take your tea, come back to your seat, and have it. Thank you very much. Bon appetit. Inaugurated 2 weeks ago in Abuja, sorry, in Kenya. They had moved to from Abuja to Kenya, and the committee was inaugurated. So now implementation. But before implementation, there needs to be some level of awareness around it, so that people with disability can leverage that to seek for jobs. Also, when we launched that, we had some private sector employers in Lagos. We launched that in Lagos, and private sector employers were there. The Total Energies, Nestle Nigeria PLC, Sterling Banks, anything. We had many multinationals, the banks, from the private sector. They all came together. So when there is an opening as a person with disability, you apply. The extra cost, you apply to the commission. You get it. So this is part of the engagement that we have done for inclusive development, because what we are pushing for persons with disabilities to go and contest for election, we know that it takes money to do that, right? So you need to have the paid employment to be able to do other things, including politics itself. And therefore, this is our inclusive governance. Our brand name for that is electability. When we push for persons with disabilities to run for elections, we call it electability. Inclusive education, another program area that we do is inclusive education. But first off, for this inclusive development, we engage the political parties, because we push persons with disabilities to be members of political parties, because you can't run for an election without being a member of the political party. Now there's an issue with the nomination forms being very expensive, and we know that persons with disabilities are economically excluded. So we advocate for affordable nomination forms for persons with disabilities. Thankfully, some political parties are adjusting to accommodate persons with disabilities. They don't have as much as officers for some of them. So it's not as bad as it used to be. It's not perfect, but we're making progress. So now persons with disabilities are able to be. So in the last Ondo State election, the person with disability contested for governorship under ADC. And he came third, a person with physical disability. And he came third. So we are making progress. Persons with disabilities are getting more. Yes, in most states as well. So we are making progress. Persons with disabilities are getting actively involved in politics, and that is what we want. For inclusive education, so we are not okay. So inclusive education, we do not want special schools. Please, one house. So while please let's show us while our people from Nigeria are coming. Okay, so for inclusive education, I know that you are so familiar with special schools. You are so familiar with special schools, school for the blind, school for the deaf, school for whatever. But then we are not advocating for special schools. Now imagine that you grew up, maybe in your primary education, you had some blind persons in your class. You had some persons with albinism in your class. You had some persons with physical disabilities in your class. Disability will not be strange to you, right? The discrimination will not run deep because you are seeing them as part of you. They are not different. They are not beggars. They are not aliens. They are very, very, very normal human beings. So if we have persons with disabilities mainstream into the academic system, we don't have these special schools, school for whatever, but then having them in other schools, we don't have the issue of discrimination. We don't have so much of it. So we are advocating, through our advocacy, we partner with the Ministry of Education to come up with inclusive education policy. Persons with disabilities are to go to the normal schools in quotes. Schools should be able to provide sign language interpreters for the deaf. They should be able to provide magnifying glasses for persons for students with albinism. I think that of albinism was easier growing up because I had one in my class at the time. He used to be in front. Like it was a no-brainer. They always brought him very close to the blackboard. He was brought closer. So that is what we are advocating for. We are not. I will always say that we are not there yet, because there is this behavioral change for education is very hard. For people to change strongly held beliefs is so hard. For you to stop seeing persons with disabilities as beggars is so difficult. It is so hard. Or seeing them as those that have some special sickness, maybe thinking that seeing it as a disease or even a communicable disease, if at all. So it is so hard. So that is why I will always say that we are not there yet. Some of these things, some of these advocacies we have done, some are being implemented in Abuja. At the state level, it's not there yet. But I know that Anambra State, they have domesticated the act here. Maybe it was among the first states that did that. 2018, so early, you don't want to pick up. So, I don't know how far they have gone in terms of implementation. Because all of these things are equally embedded in the act. Persons with disabilities should have access to inclusive education. And it should be accessible too. So, they shouldn't have issues trying to get upstairs. And I would say this, we have gone on advocacy with a lot of tell stories. The media person can testify. But I'll tell you a short story this morning. We have gone on advocacy visit to one of the ministries now, which I wouldn't mention. So we went with some persons with disabilities. There was no elevator, there was no ramp, no sloping pathway anywhere. And those of us without physical disabilities that will stop us from getting upstairs to the minister's office. We went there. So I told the person in charge, we have people downstairs. How do they come up? No, they will come down and see them. So when you have persons with disabilities come visit you in your office, you have to come down to see them. Or you have to meet them downstairs in the. And I'm thinking, what do you want to see what your office looks like? It's possible that I want to see your office. Because the minister's office or the DG's office should be verified. What if I want to take pictures with you there? What if I want to have it as a bragging right that I visited the minister in his office or the DG in his office? So others will have the pride of seeing your office, and I will not because I'm a person with disability. So we wouldn't say that it's easier for headmistress and principals to want to say that, oh, we'll bring their classes, well, if you have students with disabilities, we'll bring their classes downstairs. No. They should be able to see upstairs too if they want to. They shouldn't have limited options. They should have all the options like every other person. So I will get to choose if I want to or not. That's about inclusive education. Then on social protection and health. So we advocate for inclusive health systems for persons with disabilities, particularly persons with albinism. There's always this conversation and contest that albinism is not a form of disability, but it is. If you have to define disability for what it is, whatever stands as a barrier in your daily activities is a disability. For persons with albinism, they're born under the sun, and it gives rise to cancer, skin cancer. They are so prone to skin cancer. So imagine a person with albinism that is not privileged. You have to labor under the sun. You're exposed to skin cancer. And at least, I think last year, so we had, during the Ondo election, we had mobilized observers. And we brought them together to train them. And at the door of the training, they were not complete. I learned that 2 persons with albinism had died before we came for the training. What happened to them? Cancer. So there is an issue of cancer, and there is one for their sight. The struggle with their sight. The struggle to see. You might have a person with albinism really close to them. The person is still struggling to see you. Oh, you have the person, yeah. So we have things like that. It's the struggle. So, okay, let me just give a very mischievous example. If I'm trying to run away from, let's say, Mr. Uche, if I sight him from afar, I can easily hide. Right? Maybe I'm owing you money, and I want to hide from you. If I see him from afar, I'll hide. If the person with albinism sees me, the person cannot hide. Because he has to be at close range for you to know that he's there. But then he must assume if you're owing him, he just gives you. So that is it's difficult. So albinism is a form of disability, and we have partnered with National Hospital in Abuja to provide free medical care for persons with albinism. So we did that in the past, although we don't do that now. Like I said, that our organization is funded at every level. We get funded for different interventions. At the time we were funded for this particular intervention. And we preach sustainability. When we are not there, what is supposed to continue? They should provide accessible health care, affordable health care for persons with albinism. Skin cancer survivors, they should be able to provide some care. Even sometimes it might be something like pimple on their skin, but it's cancerous. It's cancer. And when they leave it, it will spread. So if you're not able to afford it, that is it for you. And if you're able to, that is why we push for this kind of support. Then human rights and access to justice. There is, according to the Act, right? When you are not, when there is non-compliance, or when there is an issue of discrimination, persons with disabilities, they have issues with access to justice. Now, maybe the funding, because you have to pay a lawyer, right? You have to pay, and sometimes because of still that, see, now you want to sue for discrimination, and even the lawyer didn't take a discrimination of your disability, right? Because sometimes the case is a little bit sensitive, where you are unable to draw the line between discrimination because of a person with disability and maybe there's an issue, a different kind of issue, and it's not discrimination. So we always advise persons with disabilities not to be too touchy, to understand that there are some cases that are not discriminatory, and it's not discrimination. This is just maybe you look for trouble, and someone said something to you, and it's not the basis of discrimination. And being that we go outside and probably everybody is being served for something, and you say, this is because a person with disability, no, it's not because of disability to get to it. We always have to establish that everything is not a case of discrimination. But it's easy to want to feel that way because of where we are. So that is it about our program areas. And more. So our methodology direct intervention. Our methodology direct interventions, policy and legislative change interventions, advocacy, strategic engagement, and partnership. Our direct intervention, we're already doing one here. Our policy and legislative change interventions, we do advocacy at the National Assembly. And I'll give you an example. Right now, we have persons with disabilities that are deployed in the various committees in the National Assembly to understudy the legislatures. It's part of our engagement to deepen the participation of persons with disabilities in governance, elections, and what have you. So this is part of what we do. We do advocacy and strategic engagement. I had mentioned that we advocate so much for inclusive development. So our key project footprint, I don't need to mention that. So some of our funders, we are funded by the European Union. Let me just mention it again for the media. So the European Union, they have a couple of programs. And this particular one is the European Union support to democratic governance in Nigeria. So, which is we are one of the implementing partners under disability inclusion. So this is one of our funders, European Union. The second is Cycle International for different kind of intervention. We're also funded by the British Council for different kind of intervention. We were funded by the National Democratic Institute for different kind of intervention. And MacArthur Foundation in the past for different kind of intervention. Funded by Disability Rights Funds for different kind of intervention. So for every strand that I have mentioned in our program areas, it is being funded by an international partner. So some of our milestones, we have reached about 400,000 persons with disabilities nationwide. We have contributed to legislative interventions. And I said that as a result of some of our advocacies, the Section 54 of the Electoral Act was birthed. We've PWD data dashboard and Election Observer Act. I mentioned the act and I'm placed on that. We have 30 donor-funded projects. Some have finished, some are still ongoing. And we have our footprint in over 36 states. So these are a lot of trustees. Our chief executive officer is Mr. Jake Pele. We have our board chairman and other people in that should be all. So thank you so much. Our social media handle on Twitter is TAF_Africa. On Twitter, that is X. On Facebook is a page, TAF Africa. On Instagram is TAF_Africa. We have a YouTube account as well, a YouTube page, TAF Africa TV, where we discuss, we have a podcast, Disability, where we discuss everything around disability inclusion in Nigeria, and we develop story angles as well and discuss about it. Thank you so much. I'll call my colleague, Mr. Joe, to take the next presentation.
Please, can we put our hands together for my colleague? Lily is our communication person, so she can talk for 30, that's what she's paid to do. Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for listening. So quickly, before we go into the next presentation, while Lee was presenting, the Nigerian police force killing with their force. So I would like to call on the representative of the Commissioner of Police, Anambra State, to come for the movie message. Please can we put our hands together for you and the
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I wish to say one or two words for you coming late to this place. You were not properly informed. So, my apology goes out to the organizers of this occasion. Anyway, we are also so happy that we are here to join the rest of the security agencies, the media, and the rest for this lecture. So we thank the organizers for this occasion. It is no longer news that the Anambra State election is by the corner, as INEC has also stipulated a date for the election come November 8th. So we thank the organizers of this occasion. This lecture is actually coming at the right time. It's a timely one. So we are happy. We are also participating in this event to ensure that everybody in the site goes out to vote, and also to ensure that your votes are also being counted for. So appealing for the Nigerian police, we are out there to ensure that your votes will count. More especially, that it has to do with the present Commissioner of Police, CP, Able2Vote, is out to ensure that each and every one of the Anambrians, their vote will count. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for him. This is from the CP, Anambra State, of the Nigerian Police Force, making that. Thank you very much, Nigerian Police. It took us serious efforts to get the police to be here today, but thank God they are here. All right, so I will just go quickly. My colleague Lynn has already taken the objective of this gathering today. We have this a 2-day engagement with a critical stakeholder in the security agencies, who are also very critical when it comes to election security. So it's important that we meet together and have this conversation. We learn from one another. Just to also mention that we have the disability community here, ably represented by the executive of JONAP, that is Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, who are here, and they also have the cluster heads who are also here to make this conversation rich. So we'll have places where we have at some point we have interaction to discuss and see how we can preach and then have a very good relationship with the disability community. That's between the security agencies and the disability community. So quickly, I'll go into my presentation. As you can see, disability inclusion in elections. Disability, we are grateful that disability is taking the front seat now when it comes to conversation. Before now, it wasn't like that. I remember when we were in school, there was no conversation about disability at all. We just struggle on our own to get to where we are. But today, the case is different. There are a lot of conversation around disability. Such that right now, the slogan is nothing without us. That means us means persons with disabilities. Alright, so can we say it together? Again? Fantastic. It was nothing about us without us before, but it has changed now to nothing without us. So that every conversation and for everything that we're doing, disability wants to be included as a part of the conversation and discussion. Next slide. So this presentation is just to explore how disability and the electoral process interact, with focus on the specific provision of the law, that supports or that back disability inclusion in the electoral process. Of course, for persons with disabilities, their participation in elections is often directly affected by barriers, and those barriers include physical barriers, That means having access to the environment generally and facilities, informational barrier in terms of communication, and information in accessible formats, considering different types of disabilities, and then of course, most of it is the attitudinal barrier, which has to do with stigma and discrimination. Oftentimes, consciously or unconsciously, society discriminates against persons with disabilities. People look at persons with disabilities with pity. They are just object of pity. For everything you want to do, is just to pity them. Let us pity them. Let's pity these people. And all of that. And then you make them feel as if they are some second-class people, or even sometimes they are treated as if they are not human beings at all. Some people lock up their children with disabilities in the house, in the rooms, and they don't allow them to come out because of stigma. They are afraid of the stigma from society. Because the truth is that even parents and families of persons with disabilities also face stigma. You don't have disability, but they are not persons with disability, but then they are stigmatized because they have children or family members with disability. So for me, this is even the worst when it comes to disability. Stigmatization, attitudes of people towards persons with disabilities, because that has the capacity to completely cripple someone, and that person will not be able to realize their full potential because of the way people look at them and treat them. So these are some of the things that actually affect or impact the participation of persons with disabilities in the electoral process. So what is disability? A big one. Because of our time, we have gone around the table to get your own input and what you understand about disability, but then we don't have much time to do that. The UNCRPD, that is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, defines disability as any long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment which, in interaction with various barriers, may hinder the full and effective participation of persons with disabilities in society on an equal basis with others. So it could be physical, it could be mental, it could be sensory. Of course, we all know what physical is. Something you can see, something that has to do with someone's mobility and the use of their hands or their legs or otherwise. And then, of course, when we talk about sensory, we all know the 5 sense organs. We know our 5 senses, right? Our 5 sense organs. Alright, so can we try it? What are the 5 sense organs? Ears, eyes, nose and what? The tongue for tasting, right? Yeah. And of course, you know that the tongue is also used for communication, for talking, for speech. Okay? Yes, so the sensory is any disability that impaired the use of those 5 sense organs, right? Yeah, and then of course we also have mental impairment, mental disability, impairment that affects someone mentally and intellectually. Next slide, please. So over 1 billion people worldwide experience some form of disability. That's according to the WHO, the World Health Organization. In Nigeria, persons with disability form about 16% of its population. An estimated 30 million persons, I think it's actually more than 30 million because, it's according to the population of Nigeria. If we are 200, then 15% is 30 million, right? We are 200 million people in Nigeria today. Then 16% is 32 million. And then if we are more than that, 250 for example, then of course 16% of that figure is estimated to be the number of persons with disabilities in Nigeria. And 65% of persons with disability 65% of persons with disability in Nigeria are of voting age. So that's important. So imagine 65% of 32 million, for example, are voting age, and then you're talking about a large number of persons who are supposed to participate in the electoral process, whether they are registered or they are not registered but are voting age. Persons with disability are subject of abuse, stigma, prejudice, and discrimination many times from a young age. Many times from a young age. Subject of stigma, discrimination, and prejudice. Quite early, persons with disability, even from school, if the person is able to go to school, you're only going to be having issues even at school. Schoolmates, even teachers, some teachers can use disability to insult the person or abuse the person or call the person names, and all of that. So we are persons with disability are subject, to all of this, even from the age. Persons with disabilities are more likely to experience adverse socioeconomic outcomes than persons without disabilities of any other demography or circumstance. This actually according to the World Bank. It is not new in the center. But then, of course, I agree absolutely, because persons with disability are faced with several barriers that affect or hinder their participation in society, starting from even school, access to health care. All right. So when a person with disability is having encountered barriers or hindrance from accessing education, which is the bedrock of society, which is something that will give the person an advantage in life, and then you don't have access to it, maybe because you cannot access the building. Imagine someone in a wheelchair, and then you have a school that is a story building, there is no lift, and there is no any other means of accessibility for the person to be able to have access to classrooms. Of course, that person cannot be in that classroom to start learning. Some schools will not even admit a person with disability because they are afraid that other parents will not register their children in those schools. And we have had those experiences where some private schools, who want to admit a person with disability to the school, or not admitted, some parents will come and say, no, we are going to take their children to the school. So imagine those kind of things that can affect the education, access to education for persons with disabilities. So these are real life issues that persons with disabilities go through on a daily basis that many people in our world today will not be aware of, but we should be aware of them. We should know all of this. And then, of course, if you are not able to go to school, then your ability to participate in the economy is limited. When you talk about livelihood for persons with disabilities, when you go to school, you now have more opportunities, right? When you go to school, you have more opportunities. There is no how you will be in any of the security agencies if you don't go through some form of training. There is nobody that has got into the police or the NSCDC without training. I know training is critically key to all of that. We have police colleges. We have police college, another one in Kaduna, I think we have one in Lagos, right? In what? Oh, and then we go to one, so fantastic. So it's called what? College. College because you go there to get trained. That is what empowers you to be employed, to be part of the police force. So without that training, without training, without education, persons with disabilities are going to have limited opportunities, to get means of livelihood. And so that will now affect their socio-economic lives. So they now be limited. They may not have enough money, poverty, to become the order of the day. And that's why you see that we have high poverty rate among persons with disabilities because of certain of these factors. All right, so common types of disabilities in Nigeria. We have visual impairment, otherwise known as the blind or blindness. We also have hearing impairment, We have physical disabilities. You will see some persons using crutches, some using wheelchair, some using prosthetics, that's amputees, who, like me, I'm an amputee. Some using that, they are all persons with physical disabilities. You have those polio survivors who survive polio and then they can't use their legs, and so they use wheelchair, and all of that. So we have albinism. Yes, my colleague has mentioned some of those already. We have albinism. We have some of them in this room. Their skin color is affected, and then of course when it comes to their size, that is also affected in a way, and then of course they are also prone to certain, their skins are very sensitive. That's why they don't like to be exposed under the sun too much. And in Nigeria today, some of our people have no option but to go under the sun because they are looking for their daily, they are looking for income. They need to work hard to ensure that they get what to feed themselves, take care of themselves and their families. So, but they don't actually like the sun. They are not supposed to be under the sun for too long, and they need to use protective gear like clothes that cover them from the sun, and or use face cap and all of that to ensure that the impact of the sun will not be much on them when they get exposed. We have leprosy. We all know leprosy there, right? And you know that leprosy is associated with so much of discrimination. Many people, when we start talking about leprosy now, we all know this in our communities. The way people with leprosy, those who have survived leprosy, are treated. You understand? I see there are some outcasts. I see there are some people that cannot, be part of our communities. We have cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy. Does anybody mention something? Because I have a voice. Okay. Cerebral palsy has to do with there is a way it's unique in the sense that the person that is the person with cerebral palsy have these reflexes. They don't have absolute control over their hands and their legs. There's a way they are walking, and sometimes their hands are moving on their own, moving their head. So they have issue with mobility. So it affects their movement, the way they walk, the way they write, how they write, and all of their hands sometimes without moving on the toe without them controlling it. And then we have autism. Autism affects interaction. You see someone with autism having difficulty interacting with others, and then even the speech. It affects their speech delays. Sometimes you see a child, parents will say, this child is how many years now but cannot talk. You don't know that if not properly diagnosed, you think that something else, or you think that it's village people. So my village people don't do it. You won't know that it's autism. But of course, with proper diagnosis, you get to know what the child is going through. And then we have Down syndrome. I think this one is something that visibly you can see clearly. The nature, their facial looks, and then their eyes. In fact, you see this kind of disability, you see persons with this kind of disability looking alike. You think they are from the same family, because they have similar features. Physical features in terms of their head, in terms of their eyes, and all of that. Down syndrome. Okay, I mentioned Down syndrome. Psychosocial disability. So these are just, in fact, when you talk about type of disability, you have a lot of lists, a long list of types of disabilities. But this one is just to give us clarity about disability, that disability is not just a homogeneous, person with disability are not just a homogeneous group. There are different types of disabilities, and of course, in those different types of disability comes different supports that this disability type of disability needed. whether during the election or generally in society. Disability inclusive election. A disability inclusive election is one in which the electoral process is designed, organized, and executed in a manner that ensures equal and full participation for all individuals, including those with disabilities. So we have been talking about, of course, we're all aware that this engagement is in preparation towards the Anambra November 8th governorship election. Alright? So now we'll be talking about disability inclusive election. My colleague have gone justice to some of these already. She has mentioned some of the areas we work with and the things we do, the interventions we roll out. And part of it is what we're doing today. So it is not inclusive until everybody is part of it. Can somebody define democracy for me here? Democracy. Who can define democracy? Let's go to class. Who can define democracy? Those who are the people here that did government. Or I have a volunteer.
Okay, democracy is a government of the people and the people are for the people.
Is it correct? Please clap right now. Yes. It's government of the people, for the people, by the people. So it is about the people. And it is democracy because it is everything's about the people. And these people are men, women, persons with disabilities, all people. We are not all the same. So, but if it is truly for the people, if it is of the people, if it's going to be by the people, then all the segments of society, all persons should be part of it. And if everybody is not part of it, that democracy is not yet a complete democracy. Everybody must be involved for it to be a democracy. So if all the people, any segment of the society is included, we can't say that that is democracy. And that is the reason why we are doing what we're doing, to ensure that our elections are inclusive. We are talking about governance. Governance, you can't talk about governance, you can't talk about democracy without election. So election is very critical, where political leaders are elected. So if that process is flawed, if that process is not inclusive, already we are laying a foundation for the wrong things to happen. We are laying a foundation for wrong things in governance. We may not get it right when it comes to governance proper. So it's very important that our elections are inclusive of persons with disabilities, women, and every other vulnerable group, including IDPs. They are also human beings. Everybody is a human being. There is nobody that is a dog or an animal. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at the legal framework. We can't do anything in Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that have laws. So whatever we are doing will be backed up by the law. If there are no laws backing anything, we can't hold anybody responsible or accountable. So we have laws. So we have the Disability Act. This is the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act 2018. And this act prohibits discrimination of persons with disabilities of any kind. Whoever is involved, it prohibits discrimination, even if it is the president. He is prohibited from discriminating against persons with disabilities. There is no reason for discrimination. So Section 1 of the Act states that a person with disability shall not be discriminated against on the ground of his disability by any person or institution in any manner or circumstance. We are deliberate about having engagement with the security agencies. I've mentioned how critical the security agencies are, the NPF and the NSCDC. You are very critical to national security. and of course you are the law enforcement agents, right? And so you are the one enforcing the law, and I was saying there are provisions, legal provisions made for the participation of persons with disabilities in the electoral process. So it's important that we look at all of these things and then we know what is there. And then when we are enforcing this law, we know the law we are enforcing. Alright? So section 3 of that very act states that a person with disability has the right to access the physical environment and buildings on an equal basis with others. So a person with disability has the right to access the environment, be it public facilities, buildings, roads, everything. A person with disability has the right to access, the environment. During elections, we have polling stations. We have polling units where people go to register and go to cast their votes. And this is happening in physical locations where citizens will come and access those locations to be able to cast their votes. It's important to note that this law provides for accessibility. They have the right to access any facility where citizens are gathered to do anything, like elections, for example. So it's the right, because of the law, when they are talking, when they are fighting for their rights, when they are talking about accessibility as it concerns election, we should know that this is the right as enshrined in the Act. Section 4 of this Act states that the public building shall be constructed with the necessary accessibility aids such as lifts, where necessary, ramps, and any other facility that shall make them accessible to and usable by persons with disabilities. Public buildings, including the headquarters of the Nigerian Police Force, Anambra. Am I correct? including the headquarters of NSCDC. They should all be accessible to persons with disabilities. Let's start from there. Alright? Yes. A public okay. Let's go to so the continuation of the Disability Act. In all situations of risk, violence, in all situations of risk, violence, emergencies, and the occurrences of natural disasters, the government shall take all necessary steps to ensure the safety and protection of persons with disabilities, taking cognizance of their peculiar vulnerability. So we can see this, and we know that in Nigeria, when it comes to elections, one of the fear that everybody has, including persons with disability, is violence. When you have political rivals who want to do each other or one another, fight the wrongs, just to make sure that they capture the vote and all of that. So if those issues are happening, what does the law say? In all situations of risk, violence, emergencies, and the occurrences of natural disasters, the government shall take all necessary steps to ensure the safety and protection of persons with disabilities. Who is the government? Who is the government? Yes. In fact, especially disability agencies. We are helping the government to enforce the law, right? So in all situations, whether it is during elections or other circumstances, other events, we have to prioritize the safety of persons with disabilities. That is what the law mandates us to do as security agencies. Please, I hope you are taking notes. Section 26, subsection 1, states that in case persons persons with disabilities shall be given first consideration and as much as possible be attended to outside the queue. So you will see the Electoral Act 2022. So some of these things they just take you from the law, you understand? So persons with disabilities shall be granted priority when you have anything that has to do with people having to come in large numbers to queue up and all of that. You know, so persons with disabilities must be given first consideration. If you are going to eat now, who are the first persons that must be given consideration when it comes to eating? Because we need to queue persons with disabilities. You are not responding to me. Persons with disabilities, all right? Yes. So during elections too, when people come to cast their ballots, who are we going to be prioritizing to ensure they cast their votes? And you know, this is not because the law wants to be partial. It's because of the nature of disability. You know, persons with disabilities may not be able to stand for a long way. So imagine a person with albinism who have to come and queue up and stand under the sun for a long time. You know, because he wants to exercise his franchise, you end up, you know, it will end up affecting his health, and which is not good, you understand? And then some person with disability may not be able to stand for long, and then you want them to come and queue up. So that all these things will affect their participation in society. These are the barriers, these are the things that if we don't deal with, it will affect their participation, not just in the election, but in every other aspect of life. Next, please. Yeah, so Electoral Act 2022, particularly Section 54 of the Electoral Act, you know, make provision for the participation of persons with disabilities in election, in the electoral process. We have Section 54, subsection 1 and 2, that categorically spell out what must be done for persons with disabilities to participate in the election. So section 54, go to the next slide. Next slide. Yes, voter with visual impairments, that's subsection 1. A voter with visual impairment or other form of disability who is otherwise unable to distinguish symbol or who suffers from any other physical disability may be accompanied into the polling unit by a person chosen by him or her. That is what section 4, section 1 provides for the participation of persons with disability. So you can come with your aid, and cast your ballot. So as security agencies, it is important we take note of this, because this could actually bring, because it's not everybody that is aware. It's not everybody that has this understanding. So it will become a challenge when a person with a disability comes with an aid to cast his vote. You know, some agents of other political parties or whatever it is, people may begin to raise issues and all of that. So it may even be a polling official who may be some of these ad hoc staff, maybe they don't understand all of these things, and then they do not give the proper support, the right support to these persons, and they may begin to raise issues, you know, and all of that. So, our security agents who are there, you know, these are areas that will also come in to ensure that you provide, you maintain law and order, you know, within the polling unit, so that it doesn't escalate to violence. Because small things like this will actually result to violence, even if you just take laws into their hands and begin to behave. So these things can be mitigated before it becomes snowballed into something serious. Next slide. And that person shall, after informing the presiding officer on the disability, be permitted to accompany the voter into the voting compartment and assist the voter to make his or her mark. So that person, of course, must be identified. It doesn't also mean that because you're a person with disability, you just go and then just be doing one thing your own way. Of course, the polling official must be carried along. You must identify your aid, the person that is coming to give you that support. And of course, knowing that you expect that you already have the information, you already know how to handle the person, so of course, they won't have any issue allowing you to exercise your franchise. Next, please. Subsection 2. The Commission shall take reasonable steps to ensure that persons. So, see, reasonable steps, everything that they need to do. The spirit of the law, the spirit of the act is that of ensuring that any barrier that can stand against persons with disabilities participating in the election is broken down. That is what it is. So when they say reasonable steps, some people may want to use that as an excuse to just hide under that and say reasonable steps, and then refuse to do certain things. Yeah, it's not reasonable. All right. So the spirit is that whatever it is that will be a challenge for persons with disabilities from participating, those barriers are eliminated. They are removed to ensure that persons with disabilities participate. If you follow the spirit of the act, you will not have. I hope you know that laws have spirits. And they also have, what do you call it? They have their letters and they have their spirits. You know, there is the letters are the letters I'm reading out. But there is also the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law is the intention, the motive behind putting that law together. That is the spirit. So the law may be intending that this is what we want to achieve with this law. But somebody can come and pick up, you know, the letters of the law and then begin to give it its own interpretation just to suit the proposal to argue against even the spirit of the law. So if you understand the motive, the intention, you know, we won't have issues. So that nobody will come and give excuses. Next slide, please. Next slide. Alright, so direct impact of disability on electoral participation of persons with disabilities. Direct impact of disability on electoral participation. Physical barriers. You know physical barriers. There may be steps or stairs that can affect persons with physical disabilities from accessing that place. If you have a polling station that is located in a primary school from the veranda that is very high and possibly have steps, but the person will check and access it. It becomes a challenge. Communication barriers, of course. We have, if you observe, you will see that our brothers here who are persons with hearing impairment have sign language interpreter seated close to them to ensure that they are not left out of this engagement, they are not left out of this meeting. So whatever we are doing, they are getting interpretation from the sign language interpreter. This is to bridge the communication gap that disability could, that the interpreter brought about. So it's important. So communication barriers can be an issue. I don't want to go too much in that. I know my colleague also mentioned some of these things and the provision that INEC has made to ensure that these barriers, in terms of communication barriers, are bridged. Then, of course, the one I mentioned earlier, attitudinal barrier, stigma, prejudice, discrimination against persons with disabilities. The attitude of people towards persons with disabilities is one thing that discourage persons with disabilities. It's one thing that makes some persons with disabilities not to mingle with people, not to interact with people. Even parents or families of persons with disabilities, they try to hide their own words or children with disabilities, just so that nobody mock them, or discriminate them. So this our attitude generally towards persons with disabilities goes a long way to help or hinder them from participating, not only in elections but in the society generally. information gaps. Person with disabilities may not receive timely or accessible information about voter registration, candidate details, or polling procedure. Because these are all challenges, these are all gaps because of the accessibility of information as well. Sometimes things are done without recourse to disability, and so you just do things and then you know there is this thing unconsciously, almost everybody has it. You unconsciously imagine that Nigeria is only made of persons without disabilities. So when people are programming, when people are doing things, planning, except if the person with disability is there, most of the times you may end up not factoring persons with disabilities in our planning and then excluding them. Maybe not intentionally, but then subconsciously we don't have those things in our mind. So the essence of this meeting is to see how we can discuss and then become more intentional about how we go about, securing Nigeria, all right, in a more inclusive manner. We spoke about one of the provisions of the Act. That's person with disabilities, especially person with visual impairments, are permitted to come with an aid to give them support to cast their ballot. And then again, that also poses a challenge in terms of the secrecy of their ballot. It's supposed to be secret ballot, right? And everybody just go and vote whoever you're voting. You don't need to show anybody. Nobody needs to know who you are voting. But then you see your aid must know who you are voting. Because it's something that you are coming with a trusted person. You choose the person who will support you, someone you trust. But then again, that challenge also comes up. So you're no longer going to be, it's not going to be secret, it's not going to be just you and the ballot. Someone has to support the person with disability. So that's all right, let's. All right. So challenges and gaps in implementation. Inconsistent accessibility. Yeah. So let's start the reasonable steps. Provided you still go to polling stations, polling units, and you see these challenges. The public, the polling units are not accessible, for persons with disabilities. This thing are still persisting. I think that with more advocacy and awareness creation, some of these things will be overcome. We are still on the journey. We are actually move forward, but then we still have a lot of things. Yes, training deficiencies. Ad staff, in most cases, you realize that there are people that the commission employ, recruit, to support them. They are not permanent members, they are not permanent staff of the commission. And then because they rush the trainings, they do all of that, so some of them, we have raised these issues because persons with disabilities encounter difficulty during elections as a result of lack of understanding from the staff. That's the ad hoc staff. And when we talk to the electoral officials, they say some of these people, when they come for training, don't pay attention and all of that. And that's why you see that gap in the knowledge. And when it comes to election, they are not able to support persons with disabilities the way they should, as enshrined in the law. Of course, we still need more awareness. INEC also really needs to, unfortunately, INEC is not here now, but I hope they will join us. INEC needs to hold their own staff accountable. They need to see what are they doing in the field. After training and they are deployed, what are they doing? Are they doing it well? Let them get those feedback. And then let them hold these people accountable. If they don't do what they're supposed to do, they should put them accountable. They should have a system that holds these people accountable to these challenges. of course, rigorous enforcement of the Section 54. Yeah. We have to just enforce the law. The law is there, it must be enforced, so that people who are not compliant, we bear the consequences of not complying with the law. We have to activity on it. Yes, I need to be checking where they are situating their polling units to ensure that those places are accessible. And if they are not, steps to be taken to ensure they are accessible, so that people are not disenfranchised. Diversified and accessible information. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, person with joint impairment will need SLIs. Or if the materials are written, at least those who can read can now read and understand what it is. So everybody, when it comes to information, person with disability also have the right to information. So this thing should be done in such a way that they are able to access it. Persons with different types of disabilities are able to access information or instruction, as the case may be. Yes, mandatory disability inclusion training. This is important. I think that not just INEC, I think that even our agencies, the security agencies, there should be disability inclusion training that will prepare our people, to be able to provide not just in election, but as the case may be in any other aspect of life, that they understand disability and they know how to enforce all of these things. You may just walk up and then see a person with a challenge somewhere, and that is as a result of lack of compliance with the law. At least you have an understanding of what disability is and what the law says. You'll be able to do your own work to ensure that this person will get justice. Yeah, collaboration with OPDs. It's important that the security agencies, and any other institution collaborate together with persons with disabilities. Let's not just do it as if, okay, we're going to do it for them. No, let there be collaboration. Let them be working together. Creating forums where persons with disabilities and different institutions interact and collaborate, work together. Because you won't understand, you can't know what their needs and their challenges if you don't interact with them, you don't work together with them. So working together with persons with disabilities helps you to understand them better and what you need to do in your work. And that's why we are here today. You see, this forum gives us an opportunity to meet the security agencies and the disability community, come together, to rub minds and discuss. We'll have that, engagement, and form alliances, and from there, we're able to continue with that relationship. Thank you for listening. All right. Do we have questions or comments so that we can quickly take that? We are really running out of time. We don't want to keep here for too long. It's like this AC. Are they working or is it me? ACs. I'm feeling hot.
Thank you for that lecture about disability involvement in voting. You talked about different types of disability, the deaf, the blind, the ability. You did not talk about the psychosocial disability. You want to understand that. I don't understand it. Yes. You want to understand that the name of that psychosocial disability, for we to understand, other people to understand better.
Okay, next question. Okay.
You want to know, please?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I think maybe I was rushing it, but it's there. It was there. Maybe I didn't mention. Yeah, so psychosocial, you see, so psychosocial has to do with someone's mental capacity. All right, you see some people who are having mental health issues. It actually affects their participation in society. Yeah, so those people, those kind of people have psychosocial disability. So, yeah, so it's still, yeah, so it is still mental disorder. But I think the appropriate thing is to just say psychosocial or mental disability.
Next question. Security.
Good afternoon. My name is Anambra State. My question goes to the first speaker. She made mention of the assistant. Yes.
That's for you, baby.
She made mention of the assistant tools. Please, she was in hurry when she was in the Please, can you still go back on? Yes, I got some. I was able to get some. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just quick response to that. The assistive tools the assistive tools we have in the act, and the assistive tools that INEC had deployed so far, we're still going to deploy in the forthcoming election. There are three. Magnifying glasses for persons with albinism. Braille ballot guide for the blind. Braille. You know those on paper that are usually enforced. You trace it. Braille ballot guide. So it's actually a jacket. It's a transparent jacket. It's a transparent jacket. You insert the ballot paper into the Braille ballot guide. The same thing, same size. You insert it and the person is able to go. The ink goes through the holes to you. And the last one is from EC30 PWD. What is different? That was at the end. It's not something. It's called EC30 PWD, or it can be called election day written instruction. Election day written instruction. That's another. The form has like two additional names. Election day written instruction or large font posters. So there's another form like I've already mentioned. Is it Mr. George? The form EC40 that is administered at the end of voting for persons with disabilities. So usually 40 EC40H you have mentioned. So that is not an assistive tool. It's actually EC40H. It's not an assistive tool. So this form is supposed to help INEC collect PWD data. So usually, many persons with disabilities don't feel it. And that is because some people don't even know. Some persons with disabilities themselves are not aware. The INEC adult staff are equally not aware. So when you are done voting as a person with disability, you're supposed to request for that form. You put in your details. The disability types are disaggregated. So you put in your details. So it will help INEC deploy better in subsequent elections. That way they're putting the PWD data together. Now they know that you, a person with albinism, is registered in this particular polling unit. So I think I've responded to the question.
Thank you, Lee, for that. My name is Ndoma. So I want to take you back to the legal framework on the Disability Act.
you make mention of that when the disabled person comes to the
Person with disability.
person with disability, sorry, comes to the polling unit, or that he has the right to bring his own personal ink from his side to the polling unit. And that if the INEC official does not have that idea, and you as a policeman or any other security agency around there comes up and say, no, he is right to use this ink, and the INEC official insists because of that lack of awareness. In this case, what do you do?
Wow. Yes, that's very practical. Yes, where you now you have the information, you have the knowledge of what to do, and then the person who is responsible for executing that is not even doesn't know, or there is a knowledge gap. So, as during elections, police are not, security agencies are not part of the process. Your own is to provide cover, and ensure safety, right? Yeah. Exactly. So from the angle of orderliness, you will come from the angle of orderliness, because if that person exhibits that shameless ignorance in that place, and then the person will start to also know their rights, and they trust our people. They know how to stand for themselves. Am I correct, Tommy? Yes, I'm telling you. So the league knows now. So it will actually become an issue. So you knowing that this can escalate into something else, so you won't allow this to go. So you come with that, because you're also trying to make sure that you are doing the right thing. Within the scope of your work. So the scope of your work is to ensure orderliness, and you are seeing something that will result to disorder, or will result to chaos in that place. So you can approach that person with that knowledge and understanding, confidently knowing that this is what it is. Say, if you don't know this thing, this is what it is. If you continue like this, it will bring problem here. And at the end of the day, it will affect you. Because you are not right by doing that. So approach the person with that. You are not trying to fight or do anything. You are just trying to let the person. In fact, you can quote that section for the person. I believe that by the time you do that, you will become weak. And if it continues like that, you can escalate it. You cannot at that moment arrest the official or do anything in that, but you can escalate the matter, your superior or even the INEC contact person that you have to ensure that. And I believe that I think that's the best way to escalate with your own people and then also INEC. But I believe that by the time you show them superior knowledge, they will bow. And they know that they are law enforcement agents. Thank you.
So just to add to what Mr. George has said, that at this point we don't even know who to blame. INEC will say that they usually train their ad hoc staff. But in a training like this, the truth is not everybody is paying attention. Right? INEC might display sensitive tools and tell them what to do. Some persons must have gone out like 10 times to eat themselves. And they will miss the essence of the training from INEC. So in situations like that, when they go to the polling unit, maybe if the presiding officer, he does not know that there should be an assistive crew. And of course, like Mr. John has said, the police officer is supposed to intervene. Because it's going to be a chaotic situation. But we don't want to deal with this disability and arrest them.
My name is Able2Vote, the state chairman of Anambra. I really want to appreciate my brother for the wonderful presentation. And I want to let my voice to what he said when at the closing of his presentation. I think he did mention of the importance of involving persons with disability in planning. In fact, that is the key. It's a very important point, because I know that most times people plan for persons with disabilities without persons with disabilities, and we end up, not giving the actual result. For instance, I know that security agents do have planning meetings to, identify some potential security risks, and as well plan on how to mitigate those risks. I could imagine where persons with disabilities are not involved in such a plan. How will now know the type of risk persons with disabilities do take, or the type of issues they do face security-wise, and how we can now plan to make sure that those things are prevented. And sometimes there will be violence. Okay, and I know there's what they call emergency and evacuation protocols. Which says that in such a situation, the first people you have to look for are persons with disabilities. And if you don't know how to handle them, or even how to communicate with them in a situation of risk like that, you will make a mistake and you may even make their situation worse. So I think it is very important that when such a planning is taking place, there is need, serious need, to engage with persons with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was something, Lee was, I think someone directed a person to Lee that time, and she was trying to explain to you about those assistants and everything. INEC is actually supposed to be here today, but there are some things we are hoping that will come tomorrow. So those things that Lee explained, we are hoping that they are going to come with them so that you can even see them. Just remember, I thought to just mention it, but we are trusting God that they will come tomorrow and then you have a better picture of what we just explained.
Any other questions?
To Lee, right? Fantastic.
So my name is Lawrence. Once he was a lecturer.
Lawrence, sir.
Okay, one minute. So she mentioned that she's encouraging persons with disability to contest for election. And I want to say I contested the election, council election on it. The town was on it very for the moment. You know that I ran out of furniture. I ran for it. They only came with, as a black dog, I won the primary in my party, NIC, just was easy. I ran to come and sit down every day in front of my son. Ordinary council.
Politics is not for the weak.
That's what I'm suggesting is that people need to let us to ask the government to enact a law that every political party should provide provision for persons with disability. Then that threat will stop. I'm telling you the truth. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. This is a comment to the question one. Our response to that is what is the result. So, the hits that you experienced wasn't based on your disability, right? Was it? Because other persons that run for positions, they go through hits as well. Those kind of threats. And so I don't think that is disability specific.
No, you know what you were saying? This blind man.
Inasmuch as we encourage persons with disabilities to be part of political parties and contest to elections, there is something about building your social network too before maybe you contest on elections. Then you have to work on your relationship with other people. Be relevant in your community. You should be found doing something. And the something you should be found doing must not require money. You might be offering a service to your people. You should increase your social network among your people. They're the ones that will vote for you. I believe so. So instead of literally just jumping into the voting and contesting, the thing is, when you have your social network, money might not be a problem when you're ready to run. Sorry? Yes. When you have a solid social network, when you only want to contest, money will not be a problem. I just want to mention that.
Okay.
About your experience.
Yeah, and just also mention, we at TAF Africa, we are not also sitting down. These are things we have also thought of, and so part of our programming, we're also looking at how political parties. Right now as we're talking to you, there is what do you call it now? These reforms. These is it constitutional reforms, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the process is ongoing. Electoral reforms. Thank you. So the process is ongoing. All right. To ensure to see how that person with disability will be given some of those opportunities. And we're also looking at engagement. That's what we're saying. So that's the law we're looking at. And we're also looking at our engagement with political parties. To have this, so that even when there is, sometimes when there is law, compliance becomes an issue. So when the political parties understand the importance of this thing, they also make sure that even in their own constitution, they can even capture that in their own party constitution to ensure that the person with disabilities give that opportunity. But of course, elections, politics is not for the faint-hearted. It's a very serious matter. But don't give up, don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. All right. Any other one? We are trying to see how.
One question, please. Any other question? From the security agencies, maybe.
Okay, so while we are waiting for somebody to ask a question, I'm going to ask something. You mentioned the political participation in politics in terms of vying for offices, contesting for offices, which he has done. And I must congratulate you. It's not easy to take that great step. I must congratulate you. So I want to ask, while we prepare to go into an interactive session, so maybe some of those people will come up during the interview session. So we just translate. Exactly. So before we continue, let me ask this question. It's because of what our ex-official, General ex-official now mentioned. In the civil defense, in the NSCDC and the police, we have persons with disabilities who work as police officers or as personnel in the do you have persons with disabilities? Okay, why? Why don't you have persons with disabilities? I just want to know why. Okay, person with disabilities, are you not interested in this? So I want to know why.
Sorry, sir. I think it's a policy decision. We are not authorized.
Policy decision. Is it in the law or just policy?
No, it's in the law.
Okay.
So my own understanding, I feel that it's from federal government. I think that if they apply, if they recognize that ability, they will take them, not us. So
we are still part of it. We are part of the federal government. I understand. I saw somebody with me. So I'm really interested. I want to hear that.
Yes.
Please.
In the police, we have one.
Okay.
He's in charge of the pension office.
Okay.
Yes, we have one.
Police, a staff, officer of the police.
Yes, it's a staff.
He has his uniform.
No, you do not go with him. He's a civilian staff.
Okay, he's a
civilian staff, but he works with our pension.
So the police have civilian staff.
Yes.
Under their payroll.
Yes. Under the police payroll system. Albino.
And the person with albinism.
Yes.
So it's not albino, we call them person with albinism. Okay, so fantastic. So are we hearing? Comrade, where is comrade? How we are taking note of these things? Because you see, we need to challenge some of those stereotypes and then know what is the reason and then what can be done. Because person with disability must not go to fight war or fight anything. You could be in the office. There are some things that person with disability can do. So I'm just saying. All right, please, one house. Okay, so there is no any other response to that. Okay, so now the next session is actually an interactive session, and me and Lee will be facilitating this. So this interactive session, for me, it's very interesting. It's something because this is where we will look at the opportunities for collaboration. And it's like a family meeting. This is a family meeting for the disability community and the security agencies. All right. So we want to have interaction. Maybe there are certain misunderstandings here and there. The police say that you see it written. Police is your friend. Have you now? Is it not? Police? Are you not our friends? So they say police is a friend. So citizens, whether they agree that police is their friend or because she said no loudly. Are you hearing? So they say police is your friend. So the person with disability, do they see police as their friends? So it's another question that we need to answer. So maybe those gaps, maybe gap in our understanding, maybe gaps that exist in our relationship with the disability community. This is an opportunity we have to cement that, to bridge that. So we need to know where are those issues, and then what are the issues. And maybe it's just a case of misunderstanding. So this matter we are talking about is not just about election. No, this one matters broader. We are talking about generally the relationship between the security agencies and the disability community. Because the person with disability needs to have confidence in the security agencies for them to really be able to say, okay, we can work together. If that confidence is not there because of some gaps, then we won't have that good working relationship. I know that the NSCDC have disability-based officers, both at the national level and state level. But I don't think the police have disability-based officers, that can respond to issues regarding disability. So, but this is where we will have that conversation. We look at. So, I think we need to ask the community of persons with disabilities, what is their own, how do they see the police? What is their challenges when it comes to police, civil defense, and all the security agencies? What are the issues they have, and what are the misgivings they have? This is time to share experience, so that we look at where there are issues. Please go ahead.
Okay, so that's what we have said. Please hold on. Yes. So it's not to be an experience sharing, right? Not speaking down on anybody or speaking to someone in a certain way. So experience sharing around the lecture. How you think the security agencies here can support during the election? What are the challenges? Do you want to share any challenges they can encounter? Or probably you had an altercation with any of the security agencies during the last election. What happened? How did you feel that the election supported? So, besides election, any other case that has to do with security agencies that you think that we should be able to support beyond the election?
Please, you mentioned your name and your position in the
Good afternoon, my name is Chitima and I'm the publicity secretary for Jonathan. I think I will stick with the election. One of the challenges we have in Anambra State is when it comes to restriction of movement during the election. Once it's like 24 hours to the election, there is restriction, and that affects us on election day, especially when we want to go and cast our vote. I, for one, the last election, and in the presidential election, there was restriction of movement, and the KK man could not come and take me. So I had to use my wheelchair, and even my mobility aid got spoiled on the way, but I managed to find my way there because I was an observer. But there was one thing I noticed as people with disabilities that observe. Sometimes some security
mentioned something about having tax. If you have your tax as observer, of course they recognize that. But I also want to add that we may also have citizen observers who may not be carrying card INEC as accredited observers, but their citizen observers also have the right to. They are not going to dominate anything, but they are observing what is happening. They are taking note of certain things and all of that, just so that when you see citizen observer who are not that, you don't have to see them.
Please, I want to actually add that during my goodwill message there, I said this lecture is timely. So I want to tell my brother that the lecture or this program is timely, so that we are here we also carry this message to ensure that every part of our divisions in the state gets this lecture, so that if there's anything we lecture them to, we let them know your positions. So I think if there's anything that has happened, it will not happen again. It won't repeat itself. So we assure you, and with the standard of the Commission of Police in the state, we will actually do our best, bring in our best to ensure that everybody goes out there to vote and you vote with peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that commitment. Thank you. Please clap for him very well. These are the commitments we have to see.
Yes, my name is Ifeanyi Chukwu, the Vice Chairman of Anambra State. So my own concern is this: sometimes we usually witness absence of policemen in the police. I have seen it. Sometimes you receive ballot papers, INEC materials and everything, even INEC officials, but there will be no policemen around that area in short. Yes. Now, see, let me tell you, there was an incident that happened some time ago. A visually impaired person came to vote. Now, the guy, because you know that normally INEC doesn't used to provide that present ballot guy. So normally he came with an age, someone that will assist him. Now, I'm getting there, it is not that copper, that people, I don't know, a people, has another bad intention altogether. He overshadowed the age, as in the head of that guy, use his finger to compare somewhere. Yes, somewhere else he did not even, intend compensing. Despite the fact that he came with an age. Now, when the guy noticed what happened, he refused to leave the polling booth. As in that particular desk, that would they normally, stay to campaign. He refused it. He stood there for long, and there was no police, any security agent at all, to settle the matter. They stood there for like 30 minutes, fighting and shouting and all that. It took the intervention of 30 agents, to prevent, because they came from their place. It's a kind of village, so they all know him. They started begging. We need to leave that police, because you squeeze that paper saying that it's not going to leave until something is done about it. And there were no security agents to settle them. So I'm pleading that security agents, because see, if something like if I didn't see any security agent in my plan, I won't even be there to vote because of my life. So please, it's very risky to see INEC officials without any security agents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just quickly respond to something that you said about I think the security officer forcing someone to INEC forcing someone. So I don't know but in first of you have an officer. So I said earlier, I don't think the police was here at the time. When I said that INEC will deploy real ballot guides for the blind. But then we understand that there is a case of mismatch during deployment. And again, not all visually impaired persons, that is, not all blind persons, can read in Braille. Therefore, assisted voting is encouraged. And this assisted voting, you are to come to the polling unit with your preferred age. No one has the right to swap your age, change your age, or force you to vote without an age. So I just thought to mention that is not appropriate. That is for the interest of the police that work with later. So nobody is to change anybody's age. Nobody is to swap, and it's actually in the act. You have to say it like that. So
And if those people, so if that kind of thing will happen, the person should quickly alert the police since they are aware of this provision.
Well, let me stand on what my colleague said earlier. He mentioned the lack of manpower, inadequate manpower that we have. Maybe it might have caused why the didn't have any security agents. But believe me, there must be a police around there, or there must be a patrol team around that vicinity. So maybe because of the communication gap, even if you don't have somebody in the clinic, there must be a patrol team around that clinic vicinity. So it boils down to the lack of inadequate manpower that we have.
Well, yes, in as much as I want to agree for the inadequate manpower, I look around during elections, right? There are some polling units who have a large concentration of security agents, and then in others, maybe close by and nobody. I don't know why it happens that way. You see the concentration of not the ones on patrol, the ones that are stationed. You might just come to a little polling unit and you have like 20 officials there. You go to the next one, there is nobody there.
Is there any additional motivation in those polling units, or why is that happening?
So my recommendation would be that within the security agencies should just probably work on the deployment strategy. So you know the number of officers that you have that work during the election, and you know the number of polling units. So if you're unsure, you get the data from INEC and deploy appropriately. That's what I want to recommend. I don't even have I think the police want to say something.
Well, the commissioner is actually working on the deployment to ensure that every polling unit, at least you have like 5 policemen there. So are you hearing? Yes, the commissioner of police is actually working that this election you have at least 5 police personnel. Yes.
We'll follow up to see that.
We are getting more of the assurances from the police, not of the civil defense. And I wonder why.
My question to the police, why is it that security agencies of the police don't carry gun during the election? Yeah, it's one of the things. First of all, you to the person for political talk. I'm telling you, they don't carry gun, except people stationed far away. Except people stationed far away. How do we have them to get people?
Okay, so let's hear from the police.
Let me give you a distance. I was observing an election at the Metropolitan Secondary School on Mexico. Right? I told the policeman, I was saying police told that they ran away. We are about 3 folks away. Have the sound of the gun and started. Give like people who respond. Who do it? Go, come and see me. But I think the policeman was carrying on. When they are shooting, you shoot his own. To scare those people. That is what I'm saying.
So let the police ensure that.
Sir, during the election, there are people who are meant to carry guns. It's not everybody that is supposed to carry a gun. If you're going to a polling unit as a police officer, your business is just to maintain law and order there. I think 100 meters away from the polling unit,
you will have a patrol team of people who are bearing arms to cover that axis. So the law does not permit the police to go with arms at the polling unit. And even when there's an issue, it takes time for the police to quickly rush into that scene. They calculate. So if there's anything, there's at least 100 meters, you see police officer there, you can send somebody to report, or you move there to make your complaints. Then you will be attended to, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
Yes. Why don't you?
I want to ask what's the other again? Do you know why the army quickly responded? Because they are 100 meters away from the polling unit. That is why they came, because they bear arms. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are you satisfied? All right, thank you. Yeah, so I'm scared of you.
Okay, next question.
Any other question?
For persons with disabilities or
Our disability community people know. I mean, this is the time to bear your mind.
We are claiming that
Just raise your hand and then read with it.
yes. I want to say that INEC should give especially their adult staff training. There was a day I went to, though it's far, about 1990 something. The person in charge of the polling unit refused me to go. Say unless he assist me and say go to her. Who are you to assist me? That's what I told her. You don't know that I know my life. Then I put the electoral setting. When I called 8 years, all the way from Manita, I called 8 years to take over. The now 8 years demanded to call the commissioner of police, called the area commander to visit that our polling. I think that lady was adequate training is very important. Thank you.
So we have a lot of that coming out from the recommendations. That training is very, very important.
Okay, on recommendation, I would love to beg the security agencies to please remind INEC on the need to use all these assistive devices we are talking about. Sometimes INEC is overwhelmed. They don't remember to press the form E40 or even the 40 EC10 and the form E40H. The one that talks about if there is a person with disability in a polling, you need to take the data. They are overwhelmed. Most times they have it in their bag, but because of people dragging, coming late and all that, they don't have time to face all those things. So since our security agency are here to help us, since police is our friend and civil defense are for us, I feel that they should please on election day intercede for us. Because most times, if those things are not in place, it will disenfranchise any person with disability in any polling unit. Thank you.
Okay, so just to also say that in addition to our request, you know, the thing is that maybe the police will be looking at what the NSCDC will be looking at. Our function there is not to regulate through the process, but from orderliness perspective, because we want to maintain law and order. If that instructional material is not pasted, you know, a person with hearing impairment may come there and then he doesn't know what the official are saying, you know, because there is no certain interpreter there, and then that instruction is not there. So that will also lead to chaos. The person can become angry and begin to, you know, fight for his rights, literally. You know, so I think as a way of trying to keep to maintain law and order, And also, like, if you don't do this, it will lead to generate something. I think that approach, because I don't be careful about it, not letting into the process.
So I don't know if the security agencies will want to also make a recommendation to persons with disabilities. Yes, I have. I also have a recommendation.
Fantastic.
My recommendation is for the people with the disability communities. I want them to also adhere to instructions when they come to the PWDs.
Not here.
Because sometimes when you tell them what to do, they want to tell you no. And then before you know it, some occasion will not start. And then before you know, but once you're given an instruction, hold on, wait. Just to, we are all human, just like you. You understand? We have our different temperaments. So that's what I was going to say. Please adhere to instructions and make sure you cast your vote effortlessly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, while you look for another recommendation, I want to say that the fact that you are a person with disability does not exempt you from the constitution and the laws of the nation. If you violate any law, the law enforcement agency will do their job. Of course, they will do it knowing that I'm a person with disability. But that I have disability does not give me the right to misbehave and go against the law and expect protection from the security agencies. I think that is clear. I know that our people are not abiding.
The police remains your friend. Like Madam has said, if you hearken to instructions, I think the police will not hurt you. The civil defense will not hurt you. That is the bottom line. Thank you.
So I have to make another recommendation. My recommendation will come in form of a story. I love to tell stories. So we organized an event. Okay, I said my recommendation will come as a story because I love to tell stories. We had an engagement. I'm sure Mr. Jeffrey, we had an engagement in Able State. So we engaged with persons with disabilities. At the end of the event, we're going to serve lunch. So because we had engaged with just persons with disabilities, I asked them not to be on the queue, just be on your seat. I'll get the waitress from the hotel to serve you on your seat. Because if I say you should be on the queue, some persons, it won't be fair, right? On some persons, just be on your seat and be attended to. We'll go seat by seat, starting from the forward, right? I had told them that. Now, a particular person with a physical disability, he uses crutches. He came from the back door, and because the food was being served outside, he came from the back door to say that he's going somewhere, and that he needs to eat now. I think he was speaking to one of the waiters. So, the waiter asked him to meet him. So I told him, no, sir, please go back to your seat. We'll soon get to you. He said, no, he had somewhere to go to. I told him that other person, someone had met me initially, said that he had somewhere to go to too, and I told him to go back to his seat. Let's follow it that way. It should be very orderly. He stood there for a while and said he was going to eat. I told the waiter not to serve him until we get to him. So this guy, he stood there for a while and then he came to say he had his meal ticket and he said it's just food. He flung the meal ticket at me and he walked away. I didn't say anything, I didn't have to. I just let him be. After a few minutes, he came back and said that he was going to eat. In fact, I told him, sir, go back to your seat. It will still get to you. This time, he stood by the front door. I said, I'm going to give him food today. I didn't say anything. I was just attending to others. The man just kept ranting and ranting. I didn't say anything to him. Now he began to speak Igbo. So because we had introduced ourselves from people that came from Abuja, automatically I can't speak Igbo. That was what he thought. I'm an Igbo girl. So he began to speak Igbo. He started abusing me. So I turned to him and I said to him, Oga,
But what do you think we tell you to do in the
She spoke it up.
And all you know that before you
What does that mean?
You must just be on the seat when you get there. So, the next day he said that he was going to use his crutches and break my head. And my blood will spill and I'll see you. So I really want that. You don't have the monopoly of madness. If I push you just one hand, you'll be on the floor. So that was the point. Look at me. I should cross here. I think I don't need to cross. I'll get the bouncers to just put you away from the building. So what am I trying to say? Over the years, I've worked with persons with disabilities. They are not so patient, right? So yeah.
Then I take exception.
I am sorry for the exception, but let me say this, right? Persons with disabilities, not everybody, right? But because not because it's my colleague, I think it's one of the patient ones I've met. But they are largely not very patient people, and we've gotten feelers from some stakeholders that we engage, telling us, tell them to calm down, tell them to calm down. They always want to shout. I understand that sometimes it's difficult to be with a disability, right? It's difficult, it's frustrating, right? But at the same time, please try to be patient in engaging. Everything is not discrimination, right? Everything is not quarrel, it's not fight, right? When we all want to get it right, but when you come to a place of attack, nobody is willing to support you. We had an engagement. I think it was in one of the off-cycle states, and we engaged the INEC desk officer, the disability desk officer, and they were attacking her. The way they just spoke to her that day, she was like, "What's wrong with this poor beg?" That was what she did. So because of the way they spoke to her. So when people are trying to support persons with disabilities, let us be open-minded. Let us be calm. Let us be more patient in dealing with these people. When you get to the polling unit, you don't need to shout at the presiding officer because the presiding officer's head is full on that day. So you calm down and engage. Sometimes it's not when he shouts back at you, it's not because you're a person with disability. They shout back at those without disabilities as well. So that should be my recommendation. Then additionally, I just want to speak briefly on, because I've been hearing disabled people in this one, disabled people, what people. Within the disability community, we use the person first language. So you don't call persons with disabilities disabled. That disabled person, that crippled girl I saw there, they're not crippled, they're not lame, they're not disabled, they're not even challenged, they're not handicapped, they're not beggars. Persons with disabilities are persons with disabilities. If a lady is in a wheelchair or she uses crutches, she's a person with physical disability, right? If you have someone that, if you see a person with albinism, he's not an athlete, he's not a choker, he's not a robo. He is a person with albinism. A person that has a speech impairment is not dumb. You know, usually you don't want to insult somebody. You say this is so dumb. It is very derogatory. That's what we are saying. So you say someone with speech impairment. And when we want to speak to different clusters, person with this, not person living with, person with physical disability, person with visual impairment, person with hearing impairment. But deaf is accepted, blind is accepted. I just want to mention that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, I really appreciate Lynn for bringing out that. It's also important that in the community we also talk to ourselves. Let's not allow people to feel us badly. Understand? And I have to add that I understand the circumstances. Persons with disabilities go through a lot. Some of us go through a lot, even from our families, society, and sometimes that makes you a natural fighter. Because for everything, you have to fight through. You have to fight to be where you are. Sometimes someone may raise his voice because he may need to raise his voice. If not, nobody listens. So, but we are having things getting better. I think it's important that we also appreciate what has happened, the efforts and the progress we have made. Many years ago when I was still in school, it wasn't like this. Nobody was talking about disability. But now, it has become a matter in the front burner now. Everybody is talking about disability. You know, the presidency also will be talking about disability. When you go to state government, they are talking about everywhere. Our security agencies are talking about disability now. The NSCDC already have disability next officer at state level and at national level. You understand? So it means that gradually things are getting better. So I think we also need to be patient with the system while things are getting better, so that nobody, bottom line is that nobody is accepted, nobody is permitted in Nigeria to break the law. You break the law, you will face the wrath of the law. Yes, you face the wrath of the law. Yes, if there is no any other input or any other question, I want to ask, I know there are secret people, but we have not heard their voice throughout in this engagement. We want to hear their voice. We don't know whether they are part of the electoral process. Are they also providing security during election, or what are they doing? Because nobody sees them, nobody hears them. They are very secret. So we want the secret to come out today. So are you participating in the election process now? I told you. That name is not just a name. It's not just a name. DSS. What was the meaning of DSS? Okay. So I won't tell you what he told me, but that was not really there. Thank you very much for being part of this. I know that their own is more of intelligence and all of that, so let's allow them to do their own. All right. If there is nothing, if we are all satisfied, are we all satisfied? Okay, so please, I think that tomorrow we are not going to sit like this. The sitting arrangement will not be NSCDC one side, the NPM one side, and person with disabilities on one side. No, we are going to mix up tomorrow so that there will be proper interaction. We get to know the person sitting beside me. You have been sitting with the rapid chairman, you have been sitting with all people for a long time. You know yourself already. So you need to sit close to people that you don't know. And so that you can help us to relate better and interact better, exchange contact. So that there is any. Please, disability community, our people, the leaders of the disability community, I hope you know that police is your friend. You need to befriend them. Get their numbers, get their phone numbers, and interact with them. If you have any issue, you can always reach out to them. If you have a policeman as your friend, or a policeman or a man as your friend, if anything happens, you are covered. So the same thing with our NSCDC friends too. All right, thank you so very much for being attentive, for participating throughout. We really appreciate this. This is just the beginning. We will continue tomorrow. We will have more opportunities to interact. And then, of course, we're going to also have group of, if you look at the agenda, tomorrow is loaded with a lot of things. We will be making presentations, and then we'll also be having interactive sessions. We're going to have group work as well. So be ready to work tomorrow. Today we are listening, but tomorrow we're going to work. We're going to create a framework, develop a framework ourselves on how we are going to be engaging. That is very, very key. So please get ready tomorrow. Let's come early so that we can start on time and then finish in good time. Thank you so very much. I think our lunch is ready. Nick, can you confirm? You are hearing the sounds of plates. Okay. And some people are perceiving the aroma. Too good. Okay, yes, please. We need good picture, yeah. We need to have a good picture. So just imagine me now. So we just step out. Nick, are we going outside? Okay. So please, we just step out for a good picture. Everybody will come out so that we can snap and have a good photograph. At least we'll have that in all our business when I get out to the Please, let's step out for the group photograph. Photographer, how are we going to do it, please? How are we going to do it? Come on, arrange us now. So, mini seats. You know, I wasn't around. We went out. Let's do it together.
So say you smile. I don't want to say yeah.
Thank you.